Now I'll start presenting the three basic building blocks, namely fields, values, or the field, the values, and the actualizer. But remember that we are going to start with quite open and abstract definitions, and then it will become much more concrete as we move along. So first then, a field. The field is then this area where either a value is actualized or a change can occur. So there may be something there where but nothing is changing, or there's a change occurring. And if a change is occurring, it means that there is one structure, but then it is replaced with a different structure at the same place. So if one structure at one place replaces another, then a change has occurred. But not so you can actualize a change, or you can actualize a value without there being any change, and we're going to talk about what does this mean now, that a value can be actualized at a point. This is the next topic. First we need to ask the following question: aren't points infinitely small? How can something be actualized, or how can a change occur in a point that is infinitely small? But that applies to a mathematical point. It's infinitely small. But a metaphysical point, or the philosophical understanding of a point, we can define as the smallest area that a change can occur, that it is metaphysically possible to register. So that means that the change, in order for it to be a point, it would have to be a place where it's possible for any possible mind or any possible being to register directly or indirectly that something has happened. Because if it's not possible for any possible being or any possible mind to register it, we don't need to care about it. We want to have a philosophy or an understanding of the world that is understandable. If there is something going on someplace, somewhere, that no possible being can ever register, it's not something that we need to worry about. So then we have a definition that works for an understandable philosophy. What is then a value? Value, the thing that can be actualized at a point. Well, we should distinguish between the quantitative meaning of value and the qualitative meaning. Because the quantitative meaning is just the number of any parameter. I gave examples with electromagnetism and wind and temperature and gravity, etc. So many different values that can have a number 5 or number 2.5, etc. But what are these different things that can be given a number, that can be given a quantitative value? Well, these are the qualitative values. And I give first a very just broad definition that the qualitative value is a simple structure that can change at a point. Then it's extremely wide, and you can say, well, there can be grass, and there can be stone and water and rock, and anything can be actualized at a point and change. And of course you hear, well, this is extremely broad, and now it seems like you're including anything in this concept. But remember that first, this is a very broad definition that anybody should be able to accept. Okay, there are structures that can change at places, but then we'll start looking into how the physical values can be reduced to atoms, that can be, or skin and grass and rock, etc., can be reduced to atoms, that can be reduced to elementary particles, that can be reduced to combinations of spin, mass, charge, energy, and which might even be further reduced. So it will be reduced down to a very few concrete values in the end. And the same with our conscious experience, which are very broad and varied and so on. We'll see how they can be reduced to some combination of some small set of values that make up all our conscious experiences. But it's good to have this inclusive definition that should make people accept it, and then look into the details to make it precise. So what does it mean that a value is actualized somewhere? Well, it means that it's localized, it has this specific localization, and that it can have a causal effect in the broader sense. In some way or another, it can influence something. Because if it does not have any causal effects, it could not be discovered by any being either. And then there's no reason to care about it. So possibly there is something going on somewhere that it's impossible for any mind ever to discover, but then we don't need to worry about it. So again, we have a definition that works for the kind of philosophy that it's possible to understand, and that is what we are interested in. I've then not explained what it is that actualizes the values, because that's the actualizer. And we'll get to that, not in the next video, 3.5, but in the video after that, when we talk about laws of nature, in video 3.6. But this was that. This was what I had to say in this video.